sand where everyone must go. Seek the cradle of the mountains where winds of wisdom blow. Cast a starward, I observe the heavens as they dance. At the crossroads, this could be your chance. Will you hide your eyes, or will you follow? When you see the light, in your search for justice, do you look inside yourself? Do you really want to know the truth? Will you hide your eyes, or will you follow? When you see the light, when you ask the question, will you hear the answer? While your heart is screaming in the night, in your darkest hour, you will find the strength. When you see the light, the light, the light, the walk across the flaming sand where everyone must go. Seek the cradle of the mountains where winds of wisdom blow. Cast a starward, I observe the heavens as they dance. At the crossroads, this could be your chance. Will you hide your eyes, or will you follow? When you true. Will you hide your eyes, or will you follow? When you see the light, the light. When you ask a question, will you hear the answer? While your heart is screaming in the night, in your darkest hour, you will find the strength. When you see the light, the light, the light, the walk across the flaming sand where everyone must go. Seek the cradle of the mountains where winds of wisdom blow. Cast a starward eye, observe the heavens as they dance. At the crossroads, this could be your chance. Will you hide your eyes, or will you follow? When you see the light, the light. In your search for justice, do you look inside yourself? Do you really want to know the truth? Will you hide your eyes, or will you follow? When you see the light, the When you ask a question,
Okay, punch in. Punch in.
You skunk hard motherfucker.
Man. Now let's stay on track.
Okay.
Let me
Well, first off, hello to our
little friend.
our children of the lawn,
Yeah, children of the lawn.
our latchkey kids.
Yes, latchkey. That's
They
about
come
right.
here after school
Password kids.
and hang out with us.
That's
We
right.
monitor them and make
Yeah.
sure they're not getting into trouble.
Password kids. So thank you, ladies, for the kind words about the song. That song has an interesting history. Pat Romano, I know you're in there, so I'll include you in the topics. When I wrote that, I originally wrote it, guess what, for Rat Race Choir. And needless to say, we didn't do it.
Needless.
So when we got the Vampires album, let me come into focus here. When we got the Vampires show, I re-recorded it with John, with Entwistle and the Entwistle Band. And the interesting fact is, do we remember, is that him?
No, I was just laughing at
Okay.
something.
Do we remember the Lemon Pipers?
That was the name of that band?
Yeah. My Green Tambourine.
I remember My Green Tambourine. I didn't know it was Lemon Pipers.
Hmm. Well, the sound in there that you hear, that's like very 60s sitar sounding thing, is a choral sitar.
Like George Harrison songs?
No. He plays an actual big sitar. But there were a couple of songs that had that sound in it, that bow, 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 bow. And because When You See the Light had that kind of Eastern feel to it, I said, John, you don't happen to have a choral sitar, do you? Yeah. So that was that sound in the middle of that track. Oh, it's still here. Let's see if we can hear it.
Okay.
Oh, this is it coming up.
Well, Sue remembers
Here, wait. Sorry. Alright, here, the choral sitar playing the solo part. So,
Yeah, I like that song. Yes,
Yeah, it's a good
I
song.
like that song.
you know, I like the song too.
No, I laughed because
Okay.
the Latchkey Kids. Gail
Uh-huh.
said I was a Latchkey Kid, and Michael Newton said trouble us, ha ha ha. But then Kitty Tiger writes, "Be right back. The Orioles see me by the pond and are tweeting for jelly." So she ran to go get the Orioles some jelly. Oh,
Okay, yeah, well, listen, get to it.
Oh,
you know,
man.
you can't, well,
we've been as we told you yesterday, we have baby cardinals.
yeah, I tried I mean, we don't want to turn this into the bird hour
No,
either.
but
because
he's-
we don't want to neglect the
He's-
butterflies and the
male
caterpillars
one,
and the flowers.
I opened up the front door and he's standing right in front of the front door because we have a garden mirror
Yeah, we have
to
a
the
garden
right
mirror.
of the front door. And he saw himself in there and he's flying up at the
Bluebirds
mirror.
do the same thing.
Yes,
it's like,
the babies
tough
do.
turf. you
Yes.
know.
So all day long I'm hearing beep, 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 beep outside, and I'll look and he's out there like saying, "This is my turf," to himself in the mirror.
And then fighting with himself.
Fighting with himself.
I tried to capture it, but you have to.
They are
I would have
funny.
to it's
You got
off
some
of the
good-
porch, and the porch is screened, so I'd be shooting through a screen.
Right, but you got cool pictures of a blue jay this morning.
I
on
did get a good picture
the
of
bird
Blue
bath.
Jay this morning at the by our. Oh wow!
But
By our boma.
so our boma.
Yeah, foolish man complains about torn pocket. A wise man uses it to scratch his balls. Very nice, Gene. Thank you.
Oh, good. Why do you, Steve? From now on, you need to read whatever Gene sends you first before you say it out loud, okay?
Oh, well, come on. We're skunk hard motherfucker. And,
Yeah, but Gene can be off color.
well, I wouldn't. You know what? If I had seen...
And meanwhile, I looked up to see if there really was a
Yeah, she did
phrase
some research
called
here.
skunk hard
And there
motherfucker.
is actually
Yeah.
such a thing
In the
as a
Urban
skunk
Dictionary.
hard motherfucker.
And
you know.
it is someone possessing a level of giving 0 fucks.
Yeah, that's the actual definition. I think it's
In the
somebody
Urban
that doesn't
Dictionary.
really care about stuff or whatever.
Right.
But
Well, they possess the level of giving 0 fucks. Like
Right.
me, I'm a skunk hard motherfucker.
well, yeah, you sure are.
Well, not when it comes to church
But see,
sales.
now you've been hearing about all this gardening that we've been doing, and all this, me and Teeter out mending the fence, and
I don't think so, Pat.
what
He said a question for you.
for you or for me?
You, Steve.
I'm Steve.
Just wanted to ask you if Alan Parsons' Games People Play ever made it into the Abbey Road set. That song seems to be tailor-made for
Yeah,
you,
didn't we do
Steve.
that?
How's that go? Games People Play.
God,
Y'all did Eye in the
we
Sky.
did Eye in the Sky. I have to go look at.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
If it had lyrics, David Pack was singing it.
Yeah. So anyway, this is
Oh,
our new gardening adventure. It's not really gardening. It's more like a clubhouse.
You can't see
You
it.
can't see it, right?
No.
Yeah. Well.
We have these woods behind our house.
Yeah. So we decided to cut a hole out in them and
Because
hang
there's
out
an
in
oak
it.
tree in there.
Yeah.
And it's
hang
very
out in
shady.
it. I'll put it up later.
And we're going to put we have a big garden umbrella, and we're going to put that in there.
How
and
very-
we have a garden bench. We're going to put that.
And
we have
guess
the
who's here?
pavers. Already? I was fast.
Well, yeah. That was
Okay,
fast.
well, then-
No, he's a little early, but that's
Well, then,
okay.
you know
no
what?
worries. No worries. So yeah, we're making a new place as our outside shade spot.
It's
Gets a
very
little
cool.
hotter. Yeah, it's cool.
Temperature in there.
We'll keep you posted on that one. It's fun. We were
Yeah.
building on it today. It's fun.
It is fun.
Chainsawing and hacking.
We do. That's our
Fence mending.
Peloton workout. We'd rather do that than sit on a bike and go nowhere and have some Peloton lady yelling at us to keep doing it.
Yeah. You
This
ever
way
wonder
we're
why
getting-
there's lizard in the mountain and I ain't no snake?
Teeter. Oh my God.
Man. Oh.
Okay. Well,
I wish I could get permission to play that, but
I don't think you
I
can.
No. Well, I'm going to let Gary in a little early.
Yeah, you might as well. He seems like he wants to come on in.
Well, he's a pro, that's why.
I think he's got a lot to say, and there's already one of his fans in here saying hello to him.
Oh, well, let me let
Let's
him in.
see what
I'll hold that
Jill
hello. Hold that hello.
Canarick.
Canaric? Oh, come in.
Canarick. Could be Canarick.
Could be.
She says hey to you too, Steve.
Hey. Hey back. Hey, man.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
That's some spaceship you got there.
Well, it's an observatory, and I feel safe here for the next couple of years, and thank you.
With people shooting at you, I guess, is
Well, they could try, but they're probably not going to
yeah,
get that.
you got the skills, yeah.
That's
But
right.
I got the thrusters,
Yeah.
But it looks like you got quite a ship going on back there too.
Yeah.
You are looking at the makings of a 1983, I believe, thriller. Came out in '83. This is the model of the board made by Harrison that Michael Jackson's Thriller record was made on.
I didn't know it was made on a Harrison. Where did they do that?
Yeah, Harrison MR2. I did a bunch of research when I bought the board from a fellow named Eric Z, who has a guitar amp company out in like Clinton area, and it's been sitting there since 2015 because it took that much work. It's got a couple of problems, but it's nonetheless. It's on its way. It's on its way to completion, and it's going in my
That's
studio
the
as soon as I
actual
get it.
board.
Well,
that Thriller
I'm going to explain because
recorded
from
on?
here, from where I'm sitting, it looks like racks of outboard gear,
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, I
But
thought
what
he was
it
saying
is,
it was like
what it is, it's the modules. It's the channel strips.
Right.
You know how every fader has all those buttons that every volume
Yes,
switch, right?
yes.
Has the no. So that's what those are, and they're the channels and the preamps and the sends and the auxes and all of the stuff.
So who's the lovely inquisitive lady I'm speaking?
That would
with?
be my wife and producer of all things but children. Thank goodness.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Love it.
exactly. You can stay 40 years.
See, now,
Bring it.
some people might think that he's saying that because he wanted children and I couldn't have them.
No.
Yeah,
This was
well,
a cry of joy.
I understand.
Okay, you have
No.
a fan in
Yeah.
here already,
Uh-oh.
Gary. Her name is Jill.
Oh yes, that's Jill is responsible for advancing both of our careers.
Okay. and
Really?
How do we
Yeah.
pronounce her last name? Canaric or?
Canarick. Yeah, she's
Canarick.
she's in Florida, and
Uh-huh.
she's helping my band. We were all a fellow in my position who is not Waddy Wachtel, who I aspired to be, who's just a schmo on the street, just scrounging out a living. I have one of two choices. I can either play to make the next level of bar, then over a bar band money, because anybody can go saloon fight for the regular saloon fight money. But
Yeah.
I have a guy like me has a choice of playing in a wedding band or in a tribute band. That's pretty much it. And I've chosen the tribute band because I can make it interesting for myself, and I don't have to deal with the boob in the shark skin suit with the little thing in his ear that I want to deck because he's mean to the staff.
The wedding band
Yeah,
guy?
right. Yeah.
Wait, what? So
I
what?
know that guy.
What band are you paying
Yeah.
tribute
Well,
to?
it's not a band. I started this thing with a couple of buddies of mine, and we're called the One Hit Wanderers.
Wanderers?
One-hit wonder songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Oh, very cool.
Wow. Well, that's got to
Yeah.
be pretty cool. And so,
Onehitwanderers.com is the website. And I've already started on shameless self-promotion.
no. That's
No,
what
I'm letting the
believe me,
people know.
man. We encourage two things here: honest stories and
Promotion. That's
That
right.
if we can't help each other out, no, God, are you
I
watching
must
the
have spelled it
screen
wrong.
here? Believe
I
me,
got
there's
it.
promotion all over the
Okay,
place.
I got it, and there's a link to it on the page.
Yeah, no, we posted it on the page. So
Herb, you're nice. You're nice. Well, it's we're doing all of the songs that we all grew up with and listened to on the AM radio, whether we liked it or not. Because I had some really cheap cars when we were slamming around in the bar biz back in the day, and some of those cars only had an AM radio.
yeah.
I had a 1972 Pinto, the exploding Pinto, and there was nothing in there but an AM radio. And my gear shifter was a vice grip plier on a broken nub.
Oh, nice.
For about
What
3
color? What color?
It was the green. It was the terrible army looking green, the olive drab green.
The Pinto
Well,
or the
the
Vice
Pinto.
Grip?
Yeah, the Pinto.
Pinto,
Right.
yeah.
Our keyboard player, way back in yesteryear, had a 1971 Pinto.
Yeah, it was.
So, and everybody else in the band is driving sports cars. He's got a Pinto.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. I did my time in the Pinto,
Yeah.
and there's some funny stories, but
Okay, I need to
you
know.
survived it. That's all
I
good.
need to know. And One Hit Wanderers, do you do Build Me Up Buttercup?
We do.
Woo! All
Your
right.
favorite.
My
Well,
kind
we're-
of
we're
band.
actually- there are so many of these tribute type bands, and this is one of the things that in my search for honesty, some of these bands say, "Oh, we're doing a show next week at such and such a place," and my response is something like, "No, you're not. You're playing music. You're a band. You're playing you're swatting out some music. You're not a show. Don't call yourself a show." We, on the other hand, are a show.
All
We
right.
have some shenanigans and silliness, and split-second timing videos. We're working out all the details. We're doing our stuff. when I left my most successful bar band in the early days, late '70s, early '80s, when it all went, Tom Keene took over the governorship and it all went down the sewer. Um, the cops came out in droves and it was over. It was one summer and it was over. It was gone. And I began to play that year in a Broadway show called Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. So I learned the value of entertainment. And then I just started to, so I learned, hit your marks, say your lines, deliver your product, and nobody cares what kind of mood you're in today. Nobody cares if you got stopped by a cop. Nobody cares if you had a fight with your girlfriend this morning. Do your job. So that's kind of what our show is going to be based upon, my experience with Broadway.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
going to be we're still working on some details. We're trying to work it out in such a way where we don't do too much, where we just do the proper amount of.
And Jill's helping you take it to Broadway?
I'm sorry.
Jill is helping you take it to Broadway?
Well, it's not going. The plans right now are get it in the air. If we can get it off the ground and flying so that everybody's actually making a bit of a living rather than in the scrounge mode that I've been since COVID. I'm not even playing with Jim Messina on this last tour, the last year tour that he's done as he's come back. But I am playing with Loggins and Messina this summer.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Which is lots of fun. There was it wasn't like bad blood or anything. I got fired or none of that, that kind of stuff.
No, man, but that's show business, bro. I mean, there's nothing. You can be the headliner and not be sure about your gig. So
Yeah.
that's show business.
So I'm not on this particular run, but I'm still on the website and I'm on the Loggins, and he asked me to do the Loggins and Messina thing, which was way fine by me. But in the meantime, in an effort to try to sustain, a reasonably good living where I can sleep indoors, it was this idea came up for the One Hit Wanderers, and that's kind of what I'm concentrating on, just trying to make it as good as I can make it.
Interesting. I mean, it sounds like, it sounds not dissimilar to something that I'm producing.
Yeah.
It's because there's a ton of tribute bands out there.
Yeah.
Let me ask, what was the cover band or the local band that you were in? What was that band?
Back in the late '70s and early '80s, I actually was only in the band for about a year and a half. They were called Clover Hill.
I remember that band.
And we were part of the Kinderhook Cowtown Clover Hill circuit. And we were the three basic upper level country flavored bands. I mean, there were a few others, but that we were all run by the same management company. And that's how I wound up sort of like in the Kinderhook community, who I know that you had Jerry and Andy on.
Yeah, good guys.
And I didn't even, nobody told me anything about it. I would have watched, I would have checked it all out. And next thing I know, I get a phone call from Andy, says, "All right, you're on Tuesday." On what?
They sent us T-shirts.
Yeah, they sent us a bunch of cool
CDs.
stuff. And it's funny. Do you know Angus? You must know Angus, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, Angus calls me up and he says, hey.
Hey.
He said, Andy didn't know Andy said, who was the drummer in Matt Ray's choir?
Yeah.
And he said, Steve. And he said, what? So for all this time, somehow he missed the fact that was me back then.
Angus?
Yeah.
No, Andy.
Oh, Andy.
From
Okay.
Kinderhook.
Oh, okay.
Now, I remember all of these bands. I remember all the names. But we really, unless you already knew somebody, you never got to meet anybody unless you were on a double gig because you were working 4 or 5 nights a week.
Exactly.
And
We
on
were
the
working
day
6
off,
nights a week.
You
Yeah.
didn't go anywhere.
Now, you were in Clover
No.
Hill, and Steve says he remembers hearing that name,
yeah,
too.
I remember hearing. Well, I guess at that time was the late 70s.
Yeah.
That was the time. I mean, how much time did you spend in some racked out dressing room going through whatever the local music paper was, and
Yeah, the
Molly
Aquarium.
Chris, Twisted Sister, Zebra, Wowee, whatever. I mean,
White Tiger.
White
Yeah.
Tiger, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe
The
that
Good
guy, who
Rats.
I thought had a great band. I remember seeing them a couple of times at the Colonel's Garter, and that guy is playing a solo with acoustic guitar these days. I can't remember his name, but there's an agent named Cliff Widmeyer who's has Cliffhanger Productions, and once a year he runs a buyer's evening at one of those little banquet joints on Route 17, and he
Yeah.
invites a whole bunch of people in, and we all get to play and kind of go, "Hey, I remember you," and we're kind of doing what we're doing now, going, "Oh, that was you." Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
That was the inspiration for this show. That I mean, and it's funny that you get it. This is not an interview. This is, hey man, how are
you doing? Yeah.
this is people I haven't seen in decades, or people that I haven't connected with, but that are from the same community as I. That's exactly what this is, and that's what I think. I've always been a guy who, if you're doing it, I don't want to do it. If you can buy it, I don't want to buy it. That's just not what I wasn't about that. I was about trying
that as well.
Yeah, well, okay, that's a horrible thing. I
There's a uniqueness
without question
to that endeavor that I respect and I kind of get along with.
No, you have. If you want to be, well, you know what? I won't go into my musical philosophy, but the fact of the matter is, what we do is fun.
Well, how's this for musical philosophy? I have never made a purchase from Amazon.
Wow.
Ditto. I can make the air quotes on that one.
That guy's got too much money. Not that I will. Not that my efforts will have any effect on that, but at least I'm not participating.
During COVID, I bought some lounge pants.
Yeah, but I
did buy from Amazon when it was just books.
Really?
And of course, I bought a book by Mikhail Bakunin about socialism. So, oddly enough,
wow.
Ironically, I buy a book about socialism from the biggest capitalist that's ever been.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, you know what? Try and get your camel through the eye of a needle. I don't know.
Well,
good luck there, man. It's
all right. All right, that's enough of that. But
well, listen. On the flip side of that, there is a practical upside to it. It's just so.
Wait, we don't do politics.
Let's do
no.
politics.
No,
it's just so kind of overwhelming. That whatever, but no problem, go your own way.
That's right.
My guns.
So let me ask you. So when you play, and especially on the tour, do you play guitar or violin or both, or what?
Doing both in this. My real value as a guy on a stage is that I do a bunch of things badly enough to make a cumulative effort pretty good.
That's great.
I play guitar mostly in this thing because it's mostly a guitar gig on the Wanderers, and I'm also playing in another tribute, which is a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young one with a band called Wooden Ships from Easton, PA, and they're lots of fun. They're a real good bunch of guys. They're women singing the front, singing the parts, and we do them in the original keys.
Oh wow!
Guys, just it's not. You can't do it anymore. And the music sounds great. It's tough getting that band off the ground, only because women singing men's parts. You've seen it in bar bands. When a woman sings Led Zeppelin, there's no musculature. There's no feet. It's
I played with
a basketball.
I played with the most muscular female Led Zeppelin singer there is, and she's sitting over there. What you did? Who?
Yeah,
Ann Wilson.
This is great, but there's something, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know why, and it breaks my heart that it's.
I don't let it break your heart because she did
it's
okay.
good.
I get it. That was a pun. Breaks my heart.
Oh yeah. Hey, all right, you're ahead of me here. Yeah, they're very, very good, and we're having trouble getting that off the ground because it's like I said, it's what Shaquille O'Neal stuffing a basketball. Let me see Jonathan Dinklage stuff a basketball. I'll pay to see that.
Yeah, right, right. Well, see, the thing that I'm doing is I have a friend who's I've done 3 records with him, produced 3 of his records, and he's a very
Yeah.
talented guy, and blah 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 blah. And I'm mixing a track, and my wife says, "Well, that sounds like Roy Orbison," and bing, the light went off. It sounds just like Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, let's try this and that and the other thing. And this has been years and years. And, I don't expect anybody to put on the wig and the sunglasses and go out there and pretend to be that. Wasn't my idea. But all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I fall into this group of musicians besides my buddy that sounds like Roy, and everybody wants to do something.
Well, it's a drummer
So,
from the.
yes, a drummer from the Fruit Gum, 1910 Fruit Gum
and
Company, and
keyboard
the
player.
keyboard player. What's that?
Next town over from me, Linden, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and
So-
keyboard player for John Anderson from Yes.
Yeah, so there's good players in the band, but
Wow.
what I did was I created what I called a live documentary. So what happens between the songs, it's not a band on stage talking, you know what I mean? They play their parts and they say whatever they say, but there's a screen that goes behind them with narration and visuals. Like, I don't know if you knew, and I'm not supposed to do gloom, but, two of Roy's kids were killed in a fire, burned up in a fire, and
Yeah.
Johnny Cash bought the property and promised Roy that he'd never sell it. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of really interesting stuff. So I said, why don't we do a live documentary, like 2-minute or 90-second clips with the images describing what year was the song, was bep, 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 bep. And so when you leave the show, because it's a show,
Yeah.
That's,
you feel like you got to know Roy Orbison a little better. It's so. That's the way I'm trying to distinguish this. I'm not playing in it. I'm producing. But hey,
Okay, now Jill says that she sent some music of the One Hit Wanderers. She says, enjoy, and so nice to see you and Gary on the show. You guys look alike, LOL.
Hey, I'll take it.
Kind of.
Sorry for you,
And
bud,
Mousy
but there you go.
says, Mousy
I'm
sent some
Italian.
stars.
Oh, Mouse. Oh, here. Oh, no, I need
Stars
that.
from Mousy.
With the stars in your eyes. There you go, Mousy
So
girl.
are you in New Jersey, Gary?
I am. I'm in Clark, right by the airport.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent a fair amount of time going up and down that interstate.
You pass the place right at 135. I'm practically in the middle lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
So let me ask you, violin wise,
Sure.
which came first, violin or guitar?
All guitar.
Okay, interesting, because my guitar player started out on violin as a kid. I don't know what that means one way or the other, but
Sure.
so where and when did violin come in? Because I have questions about things.
Yeah.
Wayne Allman, that son of went and died on me, and rocked my whole world. I was not interested in the other, guitar players of the day. Clapton didn't interest me. We all have come to love these guys afterwards, but in the day, the guy that grabbed me by the throat and said, "Come here, boy. I know what you're going to be doing for the next little while. Sit down." And I was completely sucked in by Duane Allman.
Wow.
Ah.
And when he died in 1971, I was a freshman in high school, and I didn't go to school for 3 days.
Wow.
And I groped around. Nobody else sucked me in like that. So I began to get into bluegrass, which was the next thing, the next phase in my development. So I discovered Doc Watson. I discovered the banjo. My dad had a fiddle. I mean, you don't just pick up a fiddle and start playing it. You got to really go after the fiddle if you're, and it's better when you're younger. But I just sort of played all the instruments. I'm being Italian. There was always a mandolin around the house.
I was going to say that had to be in the mix. I get
So
it.
that was in
Go
there
ahead.
too. And the next thing I know, I'm a walking bluegrass band.
Yeah.
Come to
Nothing wrong with
find
that.
out that that's not uncommon among bluegrass players. Most of the bluegrass players that you know can play all of the instruments, at least well
I
enough
get that.
to swap them out and have another bluegrass band.
Uh,
And
I,
this continued until I went off to college in Massachusetts. This would have been 76. And as soon as uh, as soon as I got up there, I discovered Irish music. I
oh,
had
which is
never heard Irish
just a
music.
little bit of a kick to the left. I get it.
I had never heard it before. I mean, there was a little music on the radio station, but it was all the Clancy boys and the drinking and the swilling beer
No,
and I heard Irish traditional music, and I was the chieftains and the boys of the Loch and they Dannon and moving. Ay ay ay! This stuff is so great. So I sort of went over there for a little while, and I went, well, what are the instruments that I can play can be employed over here? Well, the fiddle. Then I discovered all the other stuff like Jean-Luc Ponty and Jerry Goodman and the prog rock.
that's what I was. That's exactly what I was going to ask you about. I was going
What
to ask
instrument
you.
over here can go over there too? Oh, the fiddle.
I
Well,
was
then
going to ask you
discovered-
which one of those guys. You know, I mean, I loved Jerry Goodman.
Sure.
It was the music that surrounded Jean-Luc Ponty that I liked Mahavishnu much better just because of Billy Cobham, drummer.
Can't go wrong.
So yeah, so that's I mean, it's not better or worse. It's just like it or more or less.
Let's
And
not
I was
go out.
wondering. Yeah, right, exactly.
You know,
I don't know. I think it's an amazing instrument. And do you know Mark Wood? Do you know who Mark Wood
I
is?
do. Mark Wood and I met. This is probably 79, maybe 80. We passed each other on the street in New York. I'm going to say maybe 7th Avenue somewhere. He was going this way, I was going that way, and met his eye, and then I just sort of turned around and look what kind of case he was carrying or something, and he turned around and looked at me, so we both turned around and had a chat. Nice guy.
Great
Yeah,
guy.
and his
Before he
wife
was
is
Mark
great
Wood.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that instrument, that
Yeah,
7-string violin or
He's done
whatever?
all kinds of wacky stuff ever since.
Viper.
Oh yeah, the
I
Viper.
Yeah.
have not spoken to him since that day on the street, but I've been following his career, and he's a marvelous player and just a splendid chap.
Yeah, he really is.
So
He
Yeah,
really
I
is.
would
just
like to
moved
run
to
into him
Tucson.
for no other reason. I doubt he would remember me. I was just a guy on the street, but nonetheless, I have been following his career with the Trans-Siberian. He did I don't remember whether it was a TED talk or some, but he did like.
Oh, he does, man. I mean, he and Laura they're way into the educational side of things,
Yes,
and
yes, indeed.
the benefits of music in general. They're a good couple, and it's a good
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that they do.
We've had them
But,
both on the show.
Yeah, they've both been on the show. They're old friends. I mean, I've known Mark. God, I've known them both
And now they're doing
forever.
like
like to- I'd like to run into him just to say hi and remind him of that episode, and just to tell him how much I've admired his career over the years. He's a hoss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe me. I could connect the dots there. I
because
mean,
they just moved to
because
Tucson,
they just moved to
Arizona.
Tucson not long ago.
Right.
They were where? They were on Long Island,
Long
right?
Island, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, you
but,
got
you know.
some high praise here,
Oh.
Gary. Do you know Mousy, the sound girl?
Mousy, the front of house female
most
front
of
of
the
house.
band, for
Hate
Molly
to use that as a qualifier.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, she says, I remember Gary from back when I was working with Molly Cribb and Impact. He was
I do
the guy to watch, a step above the rest.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Ooh, high praises coming from Mousy.
Yeah.
Well, these are kind words which I appreciate, but the fact is, I had been playing the fiddle for a matter of hours when I got a gig in a band, and I have been chasing the treadmill ever since, and I've been really only comfortable with my own playing in about the last, I'm going to say, 10 years or so. Before that, I was always on the quest because I started so late. The only thing I kind of had going for me was it was just I had a touch that I worked on a lot, and I just made it a gentle touch, not a lot of times violinists, especially classical guys, they're all like this heavy, intense
Yeah.
thing. And people ask me my favorite musician, and I always say Fred Astaire, and they don't know what I'm talking about. And I go, I want to make the people listening or watching me play the violin feel the way I feel when I watch Fred Astaire.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
my goal.
It's a good example because of the fluidity and the composition and the transition of what he does. I mean, it's not like he's playing somebody else's song. He's choreographing all those. So I get that. I totally get that. And it's for me the comparison. It's interesting. You've got Fred Astaire. You have Gene Kelly. Then you have the Hines, and Dad. If you go back that far,
yeah, sure.
Gregory Hines, his brother and father.
Yep.
The
Nicholas brothers.
Yeah. Sammy Davis
are
Jr.
the ones, because being a musician, I do not dance unless I'm under duress.
No.
And I've had a couple of beers on top of it. But I love to watch great dancing, and that's why I don't do it. And Fred Astaire, even as a kid, was always the guy that I want to affect people like that.
You want them to be surprised and enlightened. I mean, I think as players, that's what we all want to do. Certainly, what I wanted to do in my career was do things that somebody else didn't do. It's not couldn't do or wouldn't do. It's I wanted to think of it differently. I wanted to go after things my own way, and I did that, and I'm very happy, over the years with, as I look back.
Jill Kenerick, her dad worked with all three of them, she said.
All three of them, which?
Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly.
His dad was a high dollar ASC film editor.
Yeah, wow. ASC, awesome.
And he worked on like all of the movies of the day, as the guy with the tape and the razor blade and the acetone.
Oh yeah, believe me, I know, and believe me, and this thing.
Some history, man.
Yeah.
Good history.
That's heavy stuff, man. Believe me, I know. I was going to say I know something about a razor blade, but that's a whole wrong direction.
That's another conversation.
Yeah, it's a different razor blade. Razor blade.
So, okay, so do you have any gigs?
Yeah, gigging. What's
We're literally just now getting off the ground a little bit. We have a couple of things this summer. I don't have any of the dates committed to memory because it's not this Friday. I'm sorry. I don't memorize where the gigs are until such time as that it's like I got to think about gassing up.
Sure, I hear you.
And we're still in the process of putting the show together. We have a list of about 175 songs, and we just got Cousin Brucey on board. He's going to work with us.
Yeah,
Cousin Brucey.
All right.
Yeah.
We gotta pay him, but that's not the important part. It's just the fact that he even entertained the idea of working with us. That voice was on my AM radio in the Pinto.
Come on, man.
The guy's a star, so, and nothing's nailed down, but we are, let's just say, in negotiation.
Well, and trust me, I get it because I have been making my own inroads for my project, and I totally get that. But Cousin Brucey, I mean, he's it's funny. I mean, you're paying him. I got news. He's not your real cousin, so you have to pay him.
Yeah,
no.
I'm kidding.
He will make the project pay off.
He's awesome. Yeah. He's awesome, man. I mean, I remember as a kid, when Bruce Morrow was on, I had a transistor radio about the size of my phone, and I would put it under my pillow and press my head on the pillow, and in the morning the batteries would be dead. But,
of course. Of
you know,
course.
Cousin Brucey, Cousin Brucey, Cousin Brucey! Yay, cousins.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. That's great, man.
So yeah, man, we're just, you know, putting this song list together. And the thing that I want to do about this band is that, you know, a lot of times you see a tribute band and they're pretty much a tribute band. And what I plan on doing is having the show mutate over the months, so that if you come and see us 3 months from now, there will be some songs that will be the same, but they won't be the same show because the AM radio changed over time.
Yeah, it can't be. And we're doing the same thing with the Orbison thing.
Yeah.
You can only play so many songs. Here, the upside is, you know, we have more songs than we can play in whatever it is, 75 or whatever the set is.
Sure.
But the downside is the songs are all 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So, you know, radio play. So that's where the narration and the imagery, you know, the screens and all that comes in. And, you know, because we don't want to mess with the traditional arrangements, but you don't want to get in and out of a song, you know, in 20 seconds. So there's a bunch of interesting, you know, it's cool. I mean, I'm trying, you know, something a little different just to see. And I've got some great people. The musicians are incredible, but I have a great agent too at Downstage Entertainment, Harlan Halper, out of, you know, New York. So he's, you know, we're going after it. It's
well, now Jill says there are gigs coming up, and they will be posting soon on the website www.onehitwonder.com.
So now you got to tell me more about Jill. First of all, do I have to have Jill on the show? I mean, should we?
Well, Jill is it's hard to describe. I mean, she's just after it. You know, she goes and gets it, and she's one of those that won't take no for an answer. She's got the gene that I don't have, you know, because I'll skulk away if somebody says no, and she won't.
Well, you know, I'll tell you the interesting thing about
Jill.
Yeah, bravo, Jill.
Yes.
I'll tell you the interesting thing that happened in my career with regard to that Jillish behavior.
Yeah.
I found so many guys over the past, you know, especially the past 30, 35 years that wanted to do something. They had all been enormously successful in other projects. I mean, enormously. And they wanted to do something on their own, but they didn't trust their own management or their own infrastructure to make it happen.
Mm.
And somehow, because when you were talking about in the 80s, when things started to go south, I couldn't stand by and be dependent on agents and, you know, whether it was CTA or Omnipop or whatever it was. So I kind of developed a skill set myself to be able to do some kind, you know, so that I could transition. Because I didn't have a manager at that time, and so on and so forth. So the thing about it is, because I'm a musician, I speak the language. And when I partnered up with somebody, they trusted me to do the right business because I was doing it for both of us. And, you know, it's not the most fun thing in the world, you know, but you create your own work. So
Yeah.
you have to, you know, so hats off to Jill, because, and I'll tell you a funny story. We made up a manager because I said to John,
As have we all.
Not me and him. No. Him and John Entwistle.
No, me and John Entwistle. I said to him, you know, will Bill, the Who's manager, will he consider managing us? No, we don't want that. And I said, all right, well, you know, we need somebody to manage the band. And he said, no.
We're going to manage ourselves.
We're going to manage ourselves. And I said, you know, I remember Gene from the Rascals told me that you can't manage yourself. It looks bad. Yeah. So I said to John, we can't manage ourselves. It looks bad. And he said, well, I don't know. So I hung up the phone. I guess I'm letting out the cherry secret about Steve and John. So I called him back like 10 minutes later, and I said, I found us a manager. And he said, who is it? And I said, an English guy, Stephen Johns. Stephen Johns. Who's that? I said, he's Steve and John's imaginary manager.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this, I perpetrated this. I mean, he still gets mail, but the best thing is, he happens to be British, so when he calls up, you're not talking to me, they're talking to Stephen John. And so what happens after a while is they carry on a relationship with this guy, right? And so I'll be in the dressing room and somebody will come in and say, Stephen here. Now, I'm Steve. Because when I'm Stephen, it's with a PH, and that's, that
Nobody
goes back
calls him
to
Steven.
childhood trauma and all that shit.
Steve
Nobody
or
calls
Stevie.
it. So when they come in and say, hey, is Stephen here? Oh, no, man, sorry. No. Oh, come on, he's around here someplace. And it's like, not here. Well, come on, I know him. I've known him for years. He should tell you some of the stories about us. Really? I'd like to hear those myself, So it's...
As those from the UK often say, brilliant.
Well, it was fun. I mean, he wrote liner notes on our records, and it was great. It was, and I wrote that for a very long time. It was because we were able to make our own decisions. And because you don't want to be the guy on the phone. You're the drummer? Yeah, I'm the drummer. But no, we're not doing it. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I agree. It looks as if the infrastructure is not in place.
Well, yeah, and see, the catch-22 is, how are you supposed to get an infrastructure in place if you don't have a track record? The fact is, I've got a band, just FYI, that has... 5 seasoned guys in it, all pros in their own right, all with, resumes of this and that and the other thing, and nobody has any idea what it is because it's a brand new project. So you have to, you have to find somebody that believes in it with you. You have to take some risks, and you have to bounce it out there and get it seen. And luckily, I have a crew of guys, from my road crew to the artists on the stage, that are all putting their back into it for all the right reasons. And if you have that, man, you got the team, you got the dream.
It's one of those deals where if nobody else outside of your band believes in it, on top of, it's easy to get the band to believe in it.
Oh, sure.
Get somebody else to believe in it too, and then you stand a chance.
Yep, that's exactly right. So listen, we're going to take a quick break. I have to do the commercial, and
then...
But did Angus send you the questions?
Yeah. I can monkey with these a little bit.
Yeah, they're fine. It's just meant to be a way of. And did he tell you about Free for All Friday?
No.
This is the best byproduct of this whole thing. You want to do that, the hang, the real dressing room hang, the real green room hang. Friday nights, it's just anybody who's ever been on the show can pop in and say hello. Guys, people call from all over the world. Mousy called from Rome.
Yeah.
We've got a guy in Antigua that comes in every Friday.
She
Aruba.
zooms from Rome.
Costa Rica, and then guys doing gigs all over the place. They'll pop in for 5 minutes.
Yeah, he probably knows Rich Verge.
Yeah.
Do you know Rich
Oh,
Verge?
Rich is great. He's one of my old pals.
He's in Aruba, and he pops in on Friday
and
nights.
he comes in almost every night on a break.
It's my place when he comes up here.
Oh man,
yeah,
we got to see this. This is it.
He's talking about growing pot in Aruba.
People, I told you, it's the coolest gig on earth. You could be a golf pro, a movie star.
Okay.
Forget it.
What about
This is where it's at.
Lenny Kottke? Lenny Kottke? He was a bass player for the Good Rats.
No, I saw the Good Rats a couple times, but once again, I was playing in Clover Hill. They sort of didn't even notice me because I was wearing fry boots and a yoke shirt.
Okay.
Well,
he comes in on Fridays from Antigua.
So anyway, that's that. And I want to say one thing before I go to take this break.
Joey Franco was killing me.
Joey Franco. Yeah, he's over in Fort Lauderdale playing golf every day.
He was killing me. I saw him at Zaffy's.
Zaffy's! Holy shit, I remember Zaffy's.
Zaffy's. Joey Franco, man, it was, wow, what a band.
Yeah. Fine player, fine player.
Pepe Marcello on television suing somebody.
Uh-oh.
On one of
That's
those
about right.
programs.
Probably his brother.
He won the case. Somebody didn't pay him.
Oh, you know what? Lenny told that story.
Yeah, he did.
You got to come in on a Friday, man.
Pepe's
Lenny's-
dead now.
Yeah, Pepe's very dead.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a quick Pepe story. I hadn't played with Rat Race Choir since, I don't know, the early 90s. I get a call to do a reunion at Speaks with the Good Rats, Rat Race, Zebra, and Dee Snider and his solo band representing the Twisted Sister crowd, right? So I said, yeah, all right, I'll do it. But they wanted us all to share Franco's drums, and my kit is completely different. I can't use what he uses. So I said, I don't mind playing somebody else's drums, but they have to be, I'm not a bass player, I'm a guitar player, so it's a different, So anyway, I walk in and they get it was about the kick drums, and I walk into the dressing room, there's Pepe Marcello, and he says, hey, Steve Luongo, nice to finally meet you. He said, I heard that my reputation as the biggest asshole in Long Island is in jeopardy because of you.
And he never met Steve before.
And
That's Italian.
And I said, man, it's nice of you to say, but your reputation is in absolutely no jeopardy. And that was my one encounter with that guy.
Yeah.
And okay, nice to see you. Thanks for coming down and bringing me down too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Do what you got to do. I'll stick around.
well, what I was going to say
Well,
was
you gotta come
I
back and answer the
love
questions.
frickin' the high energy bluegrass. I love
Yes.
the Soggy Bottom Boys. I mean, I hear that stuff and it's just so cool. I don't know, that picking just, man,
Yeah.
Foggy Mountain
I
Breakdown
love
is a
a
little
fiddle.
too typical, but anybody that can really play that shit, there's no faking. There's no auto tune in
Apparently,
in bluegrass.
Gary, you have a blue violin.
I do.
that's-
Because we have a viewer that says a
blue
picture
violin?
of Gary and his blue violin. Now, I don't see a picture,
Well, that's all right.
but Jill has been sending a lot of links to YouTube
I
sites.
think we got to have Jill, the show business.
she's wait. She asked if we wanted to
she'll be
have
very
her dad
entertaining.
on.
her dad.
Yes.
Wow. Well,
And
yeah.
he will tell stories.
Oh, we love stories. All right, listen. Let me do this commercial. Otherwise, we're going to wind up doing the part 2. All right. I'll meet you back here in a
I'll
second.
hang out.
All right. Thanks.
Bradley's Jewelers in South Fort Myers. Diamonds, bridal, you name it. Estate, custom design, and expert repair. Bradley's Jewelers, South Fort Myers. They specialize in amazing moments.
Painless. You see how that is? Quick voiceover.
Yeah.
Boom. You're in. You're out.
Right, Bradley's Jewelers.
And that would be great.
Hey, man.
So yeah. So we'll have Jill's whole family on the show. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
She's from Long Island, actually. I don't know where, but I believe she has 2 brothers that still live in Long Island.
Oh.
Interesting. Well, we'll have some stories to exchange. All right. Well, so I'll connect with Jill while we've got her here,
Yeah,
so
she
we'll figure
said
that
to
out.
DM her.
But now it's time for the life and career altering questions. The 5 questions that determine the focus of your light in the musical universe.
You know.
If there are no wrong answers, but all answers will be tattooed on the back of your neck. Okay.
Yeah.
You've traveled, man. You've done some travel and road work. Favorite restaurant on the road, and the one that makes you not necessarily the best, but the one that has that special
not the
feeling,
fanciest. It doesn't have
that
to be
whole
fancy.
man, can't wait to go back there.
There's me being who I am, as long as it isn't a corporate restaurant, I will not, like the guys will go to whatever, to TGI Fridays, and I won't. I'd rather not eat than go to a place where there's more than one, where there's 2 of them.
Yeah. A chain.
That's interesting.
If it's like, Freddy's restaurant, I'm in.
Okay,
right.
the local hat hanging joint.
Local restaurant.
Very
Uh,
good
All
answer.
right, very
it-
good.
and it almost doesn't matter. There are hundreds of them, all around the place, all around the country that I've played with Jim mostly. That I can't even think of the names of any of these places. But being a vegetarian, it makes it another
Oh,
We
matter,
okay,
had
yeah.
another
another matter
person.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are some times when the truck will stop at a truck stop,
Aha.
Mhm.
and I just got to tough it out. So I get a bottle of water, and that's the extent of it.
That's
But
yeah.
my favorite area to be, hands down, New Orleans.
Oh,
Oh.
no
Not even
question.
a close second.
But now that begs the question: if you're a vegetarian, is shrimp on your? I mean,
No, I don't eat seafood.
wow. So
I
what?
can always find something, or if you just ask nicely, these people will whip you something up
Yep.
in New Orleans.
Oh, I
And
have.
they'll
My
just-
wife is from.
I'm
Laurie's
from
from New
there.
Orleans, so yeah, I know a little bit about that.
It is an absolutely fabulous place with great history and smiley drunk people that I adore. And I have never been there for Mardi Gras because I've been told it's a little sloppy.
Yeah, it wasn't in the '70s. It was fun, but now it's just totally, commercialized.
Yeah, it's a little. I've been told it's a little sloppy on a number
Yeah.
of levels.
Well, I'll tell you what. The first time I went to New Orleans was with Laurie on like a Tuesday, October
My birthday,
6th,
yeah.
and I have never seen that many drunk people in the same
was
place
like
without
19
somebody getting shot. It was
1982.
like it's like
I understand.
what? Yeah, I mean, think of New Year's Eve in Midtown in like '75,
Sure.
and then take that and put some warm weather in there and a Go Cup. Whoa, I was not out of my element. Now, of course, I get it. But
Yeah.
okay, all right, moving right along.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, New
And
Orleans
this next
is-
question, or the next
good.
two questions, can cover any band, any set list, anything. But the set list comes out, and there it is. Your favorite song to play live. Doesn't matter if it's guitar, violin. Favorite song to play live.
In memory of Elizabeth Reed.
Ooh, okay.
That's the one I remember hearing that song for the first time, and I was hooked. It was over for me.
Wow. Yeah, I had the pleasure of playing with Dickie Betts.
Wayne grabbed me by the throat right about there and said, "Sit down, boy."
Yeah, man. That was way over too fast. That was just, well, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. So, all right, now, here we go again. Same rules apply to the width of the question, but now the set list comes out, and we're not so happy to see this song. What song would that be? Now, I don't really want to play this song again. Not that it's not a great song, no insult, if it's Angry Eyes, but why I don't ever want
Oh, Angry Eyes, I'll do. As
No,
a matter of fact, I'll even call it.
I'll bet I would do it. And I mean, I thought those guys just did some great stuff. But I digress. The song I never want to play again, if possible.
The devil went down to wherever it is he went to.
Okay.
If that song, I had that song surgically removed, and it keeps growing back.
I know, man. It's like a wart. I get that.
Now, having never met Charlie, no, I actually did meet Charlie Daniels, but he didn't remember me. I'm whatever. He's a regular big, guy, big time guy that a guy like me might meet. I didn't get in his way. He didn't get, he wasn't
Sure.
a problem. He was just a guy there, as far as I know. But that song has been down my throat and through my digestive tract so many times. But that's
Gotcha.
not the part. Can I elaborate?
If you like, I do have a question concerning a song, but please carry on. Yes.
I have worked too hard in my life and dedicated my Friday nights and Saturday nights to actually to make sure that things don't suck. I have,
Just on Friday and Saturday?
well, you know what I mean.
I know.
You know, at gigs to make sure that things don't suck.
Right.
I go to my lesson on 11 o'clock on Monday morning to stop the sucking. And what becomes the biggest hit of my instrument? Suckage.
Yeah, well, I get that.
No, he's a nice guy and all. The song, to hear it said by every human being that sees a fiddle anywhere, I could be playing a jazz gig at a wedding, and somebody wants to hear "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." It's I have stopped getting mad about it because I was in my infuriation stage for a while, and I just sort of gave up the ghost. And I will play it, but if I never have to play it or hear it or be reminded of it again, I'm a happy guy.
Good answer.
Yeah,
good
I'm
answer.
with you on that one.
One quick side note, just a side note. Do you know the solo to Baba O'Reilly?
I do.
There you go.
I would, man.
In whatever key that the singer can play it in. As a matter of fact, I can put that song as a quote in absolutely any song. I have I
Wow.
can play that song in a jazz waltz.
Really?
I could play that song over the jitterbug waltz.
Oh man! And how would one experience this phenomenon?
Usually, if somebody either mentions it, which I think that's an absolutely brilliant. I forget the guy, Dave Arbus, I think was the guy that
It's
did.
Pete's father-in-law.
And I really,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that okay.
Ex-father-in-law.
I'll take it. It's a brilliant piece. The tone is wonderful. The playing is wonderful. The lick is wonderful. That thing at the end, bang! How did they know how to stop that? How did
I'm going to tell you. You want to know?
yeah, please,
Do you actually really want to know?
please, go ahead.
Mooney, I mean, obviously they fixed it in the studio, but if you remember Mooney wearing the old Cloth 727Bs with the duct tape,
Sure.
he was listening to the track. Bobby used to stand on the side of the stage, and he would run what was essentially, the half-track machine that we did our masters on, right? And they had a couple of those on the side of the stage, and they would run in sync in case one went out. They could just switch to the other. But Keith went into the studio, and he would say things onto the track that got played into his, like, here it comes, are you ready, here we go, speed up, and 1, 2, 3, and bat. And that's how they,
That's
how they did it.
I'll take it. However that occurred that's a stroke of brilliance.
Well, that's how it had to occur. Zach doesn't do it that way. Zach knows what the count is.
Sure.
But and you still have the trigger because there's something that happens in the sequence where it, as a drummer, you can just place where the time is, and
Sure.
and it's on the upstroke. It's on the offbeat.
I have played that any number of times with a fella down here who is part of the Springsteen. He's part of the upper level community, and I get to wander around there now and again. I mean, I'm not part of the upper level Jersey Shore
You're not.
our community.
Bullshit. That's bullshit.
But anyway, I get invited up there now and again. I mean,
Hey, Jill, wake this guy up.
She said Gary's a mastermind musician.
Jill, do you have a minute to straighten him out? I mean, come on.
Pat Romano's already wanting you to pass the peas with him.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
okay.
in. But the Bobby Bandiera, who, if you ask me, is one of the formidable talents of the area, would ask me to play in his shows, and that would be one of the ones that he would do is Baba O'Reilly. He could sing it. Nobody's business. I think, in my opinion, he's the best rock voice on the Jersey Shore.
Well, wait a minute. Hang on. He's Daltrey kind of ish. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Bandiera, Bandiera. and he's played with
Bandiera.
all of them. He's played with Bon Jovi. He's been he's I believe he was in a band called Cats on a Smooth Surface back in the day.
I remember that band too.
I
What's his
think that
first
was
name?
him.
Bobby Bandiera.
Yeah,
Okay.
brilliant player, and he would ask me to do this particular thing, and I had, it's fallen off a log for me now, and it was originally an F, and he does it. He can still sing well, but why hurt yourself? So we do it in E,
Oh, okay.
and it's just great. It's so much fun. I've got the whole shooting match. I just watched the count. He jumps up and down, bang, and that's when we hit the last note. And
That's
my
great.
other buddy Arna is the keyboard player, and boy has he got those sounds. He's the guy is just sounds are us.
Really, that's cool.
And he had been playing with John Bon Jovi and friends, not Bon Jovi.
Right.
John Bon Jovi and his friends and his band, and Arna is the keyboard a pyramid of that particular band. I mean, the guy's a very formidable talent and a wonderful. He's one of my best pals.
That's cool.
Okay,
What?
Jill says, ask Gary if he would play a few notes for us.
Oh, that's in the other room. That's in my.
No, we'll make him do that on a Friday. I got yeah, no, in fact, that's even wrong. But maybe there'll be a chance. I'd love just to hear that solo, just only because I have a connection to that part of the world.
Now they're
Oh
wanting.
yeah, I understand.
Now they're wanting me to play.
Yeah.
Of the Brit rockers, I mean, some guys were, Zeppelin guys. Other guys were. I was a Who guy. To me, as far as I'm concerned, Quadrophenia is one of the all-time great records. There isn't a stinker on that record.
No, it's interesting. I've heard them play that maybe 4 too many times, but no, it's amazing. I mean, that's Pete's just. He's brilliant,
Yep.
like him or not, whatever.
A few years ago, I forget where I was. I was at somebody's house because I don't have a television, and they had some pay service specific series on that Pete Townsend had done the music to. I don't remember what
CSI.
series.
CSI?
I don't know. It was I think it might have starred Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh.
It was one of those. It was a short-lived one. But I'm saying,
It's not that
man, the
Billy Bob
music on this is really happening. I'm listening to it, and then the final, after the thing is over, the music is playing while the credits are running. I'm going, all right, who's this? This ain't normal. And it turned out to be Pete Townsend.
Interesting.
Wow.
Right now, listen, he keeps himself busy. He's a very creative guy.
Indeed.
It's an interesting trail to follow. But I'm getting off the most important questions, and this next one,
And it was called Goliath, the show.
Goliath.
Yeah.
Was the show.
That may very well. Like I said, I don't have a TV, and consequently, I don't have a pay service.
I have a producer.
Yeah, that's all the better.
Okay, so
Pete was throwing hardball, man.
I understand. See, this is bad. This is not. I'm going to ask you about. I understand you do cues for broadcast. Am I right or am I wrong?
The Weather
I
Channel.
had for about 18 years a situation where I would send music and they would use it on the Weather Channel. It
Wow.
was really cool in that the Weather Channel was just kind of getting started, and me being, I just wound up loving smooth jazz because I loved the grooves and the tonalities. I mean, those records sounded great. So I just admired guys like Dave Sanborn, and Ponte was kind of before smooth jazz, and smooth jazz kind of got watered down. And it wasn't really throwing the hard ball that guys like Ponte and Holsworth guys were doing. Even when those guys
Holsworth.
groove, they were throwing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs. and some of the other stuff was a little not so much.
Yeah.
And I wound up as one of the not so muchers on the Weather Channel, and this ran for about pretty close to 18 years. My buddy in Nashville got the gig named Eddie Reisner, and we did this for quite a long time. Even after I moved out of Nashville, we would still do songs over the internet, the way that we do now.
Mm-hmm.
And he would send them down, and they'd run them. I'd hear them on the radio. One time I was playing with Highway 101 out of Nashville, and I said to one of the guys, we were standing in the lobby, Weather Channel's on, and I hear stuff, and I go, "Hey boys, I just made 6 cents."
I was going to ask you if you got residuals.
Well, at the time it was just that, we would get the whatever it was. There was a particular pay scheme, and I said, "Yeah, that's me. I'm playing guitar right there." And he went, "That's you playing the guitar up on the radio right there?" Said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, you sound great."
Try some of this.
Yeah. So, I was like, all right, I guess I'll have to, show you that, and well, anyway, this went on for quite a long time. And then they always, anything corporate will find a way to pay you less. And so we just sort of went, well, it was a good run. That's enough of that.
Well, I guess, the thing about, because I do cues for,
Angus was saying,
yeah, and the thing about it is, I never knew that there was such a thing as a thousandth of a penny, and but it occurred to me that the Weather Channel airs once and that's it, right? Or does it go throughout the day and rotate so you get like?
When we started this, there were fewer people contributing. And so we were kind of run pretty good, and we got X number of cents per play per cable network.
That's and who follows that? Is it ASCAP? I'm with CSEC.
BMI.
BMI. I have a BMI publishing company. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's all good. Well,
Very good.
see, this gives us stuff to talk about on Friday. But anyway, let's keep the ball rolling because I'm going to get a fine from the FCC, and it's not.
We'll go have a beer and talk about it.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. But here we go. This is my skills as a astronaut. Okay. All right. Now you play a lot of instruments, so I'm going to have to put it up to you to be fair, because all of the instruments that you play are excluded from this list.
All right.
Oh, well.
No. Well, what? You're going to change the rules? Hang on a second. I got to call my lawyer. All right. If you could absolutely shred at any instrument that you don't already play, so that immediately guitar and violin are out of it, but whatever else there is in your pocket, if you could absolutely shred at an instrument that you don't play, what would it be?
Well, let me set that up if you don't mind. When I was a kid, little kid, like third, fourth grade, I don't know why, but I thought Louis Armstrong was the coolest thing on the globe. I said, this guy has got it, that big smiley face. He's just having the most fun in the world it could possibly be. I want to play a trumpet. Dad, can I play a trumpet? No. Why not? Well, this went on for as instruments and kids often do. You pester them. So my dad said, all right, go into the school, because we had music departments back then.
Sure.
I got a trumpet. I signed my name. I was the coolest thing. I'm walking down the hallway with a trumpet in my hand, and I got it back to my classroom. I opened the case. I smelled it. I closed the case and I brought it back. Now, when something smells bad to an 8-year-old,
Oh.
Okay.
8-year-olds are.
So
if I would have been able to get past that, I might have been a trumpet player that started at 8 years old.
Wow.
Okay, just not not for nothing, but John Entwistle started with the trumpet in the
Horn.
Boys Brigade. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he played all the brass.
But I don't
stuff.
think he had a smelly. He
No,
had his own.
none of his smelled. No.
Yeah, he had his own one.
And he had one of everything. He had obviously French horn. That was really his instrument. But he started with the
That's
trumpet.
what I remember from
He had trombones and the tiny little bugle thing and
box trumpet.
it was amazing. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you know what? I think, we're guided, and that smell guided you away from the trumpet. And
Because
now
who knows?
You're an
That's
amazing
right.
fiddle player.
You know what happens to trumpet players. You know what happens to them. Okay, so and then and I know you would have given yourself Gillespie pouch, and that would not have worked out for the other thing. So you're better
Oh man,
off.
we've had like trumpet player from what was the name of him? Tower Power on.
Oh yeah.
No, he's a sax
Oh,
player.
sax player. Yeah.
Lenny
We've had a-
Niehaus, no?
No, it was one
John
of them, but there's John Scarpula.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember that name.
Yeah.
Monster
He's
player. I
great.
mean, man, Tower Power.
We've
That's
had Crispin CO, who was a horn
the Uptown
player
Horns.
for
Those.
the Uptown Horns.
But we digress because
Okay.
we're coming to the most important
Important
climax of the 5 questions. You ready?
All right, shoot.
Want to focus?
I
You're
know.
good?
I bet I'm going to guess who won. I'm not going to say it,
Okay.
but I know who one of them is going to be.
If you could play one gig with anybody or any group of people, living or dead, who would it be?
Chick Corea.
Oh. With who else in the band? You and Chick. And would you be playing trumpet or?
No, I would of course be playing violin, but Bela Fleck would have to be in the band.
Oh, the Fleck tones. Very nice. So
I,
you're kind of a prog guy, huh?
Yeah, I suffer. I suffer.
and no Dwayne Allman?
Well, Dwayne, I don't want to say that I outgrew Dwayne, but Dwayne is kind of an enigma variety that was a thing that really got me started. And I still listen to Statesboro Blues in awe of that. There's no other way to describe my feeling, my sensation for that. But then, and I did not hear this until just a few years ago. I went to a friend of mine's house, and he's looking at me. I'm bragging on Dwayne Allman, doing not unlike what I'm doing now, and he goes, "Have you heard Taj Mahal?" I went, "What do you mean?" "Well, of course I've heard Taj Mahal." "No." "Have you heard Taj Mahal play Statesboro Blues?" And I went, "No." "What do you mean?" "Sit down." And he played Statesboro Blues, and I went, my mind was completely.
Wow, yeah.
I had never heard that and run into it, and I went, "Okay, Taj Mahal, salami bologna, salami bologna."
Yeah. Us to like the Lakers. Yeah, I got you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dwayne really raised the bar. If you listen to the snap, Dizzy Gillespie used to call that attack, that thing that he had. He used to call that snap. When you had snap to your plan, it would behave like that. And I would use Dwayne Allman's Statesboro Blues as an example. I think that's his crowning achievement.
Well,
I mean, not his only crowning achievement, but I think that's as good as he got.
well, that's the legacy part of it, the definition part of it, and if you have to, so everybody needs to tick a box, and so
Sure.
I get that. I get that.
But I once again, I digress. I somehow wind up back on Dwayne Allman. But Chick Corea, what I especially admire about Chick Corea is the composition, the diligence. You can tell that there was some practice going on there. I would have to say also followed closely by Pat Metheny.
Oh, okay. So then, who else in the bill? Would you have Jocko on bass or
I would.
Marcus
Sure.
Miller?
Sure, I'm a big fan of Larry Klein.
Oh, Larry Klein.
I'm a big.
What about
fan.
Larry Graham?
There's and it was the rest of the guy. If I got that crew, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So listen, that's a good band.
Yeah,
If I get the call, I'll show up.
deal.
Okay, there it is.
There's a bunch of drummers that you may know. I really like Joe Churko's playing.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
played
not
with him
that.
with Mark Muller in one of the Grateful Dead things, and I
Yeah.
went, this guy's got it. Joe is absolutely wonderful player. I've been playing late. I did a gig a couple of weeks ago with Lee Finkelstein.
Yeah.
Another
Why do I know that name, Lee Fink?
Blues Brothers,
Okay.
just a man about town, marvelous player. Um, there's the guy that I'm playing with now in the One Hit Wonders is a guy that I played with and really liked. I admired. I liked his work. I liked his touch, and I hadn't seen him for 30 years. And I called him just totally out of the blue and said, "Lou, do you want to like take up, with this thing?" And he's in.
No, that's how the best stuff happens, man.
It's
Spur of the moment.
it's a lot. It's a lots of fun. And in all honesty, if I may send you some of the One Hit Wonders has an original band called the Captains of Destiny.
Oh, yeah, no, send.
And we
Absolutely
have
send.
some original tunes I'd love to run by you.
I'd love to hear it.
No
Yeah,
guitar in the band. It's keyboards. My keyboard player is a veritable unknown, which is fine by me because if I need him for a date, he's open.
wow.
His name is John Kaliakovo, Italian guy, and he's out of that. He's a classically trained pianist who, once again, can play jazz as well as anybody needs to. But he's an accordion champion. He was fourth in the nation as a
Wow.
kid, as a little goo goo baby.
Wow.
So
See, now that's very interesting because the guy who cuts our hair
Yeah.
is an accordion master from,
Yeah.
he's Italian.
Yep.
yeah, that's that. Italian will do that.
Yes, it will. It
He
does
was in a
that.
band in
Yeah.
Italy when he was young.
Yes, it'll do that. It didn't do it to me, thankfully. I like to hit things with a stick, but
Yeah.
it will do that. It will do that. No,
But
he's
he
a great
was-
guy, and
he lived in Italy.
yeah, he's from there. I mean,
Yeah.
he's still got his accent, and
Yeah.
and again, another innovative guy. He's if you've ever watched afternoon talk show or whatever, and they have the guy on there cutting some lady's hair with razor blades all over his fingers.
Like Edward Scissorhands.
That's the
Oh,
guy.
really?
That's the
Yeah.
guy. You see the
Oh, wow.
scar? No.
It's
Oh,
called
yeah.
Claws.
It's called Claws, and it really is. He's the guy who invented them. And
Wow.
I called my bass player down here and said, "Listen, Larry, who cuts your hair? Because I'm not going back to where, whatever. I had the same person cutting my hair for 25 years. Then I come down here to the haircut wasteland, and it's like, wow." So when we found, anyway, talk about digress.
Yeah.
Listen, Gary, man, you've got to
Yeah.
come in on a Friday,
Well,
any
it's-
Friday.
It's my pleasure to make your acquaintance, and I had a wonderful time. And thanks for asking.
No, man, thanks
it
for
was
being
so
here.
fun.
And there's an since you're a fusion guy, there's an outside chance that someone could send you a track
Oh yeah.
with looking. We call it Pass the Peas. It's not Maceo Parker, but we call it Pass the Peas. So if I passed you some peas,
Count me in.
yeah, okay. You know what? I believe it, and soon come, man.
Well, he
I'll
doesn't.
send you a couple, a little examples. I play the violin as if I was Tom Scott. That was one of my early heroes on the instrument because I wanted to play the violin, but I wanted to play like that. I didn't want to play like everybody else. I didn't want, even though I love Grappelli, I didn't want to do that.
Right.
Even though I love Jean-Luc Ponty, he's already doing that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I hear that with my bad ear. So yeah.
So I suffered from saxophone players. The two guys that were my biggest. I put the record on at half speed and copped the licks. Stanley Turrentine and Tom Scott. I can to this day still play. I don't know, a bunch of those solos.
because they're ingrained in your head. I mean, we all did that at one point. It was slow the thing down, learn the lick. Well, yeah, no, it was the good thing for me is nothing gets in the way of the drums. You can hear everything because it's in its own space. The only thing that even comes close is maybe the bass if you've got but figuring that stuff out. I loved doing that when I was a kid.
Oh
Now,
yeah, man. And the drums, the guys that had a really good sound and a light touch were the ones that attracted me, like Joe Morello.
no, well, Mousy worked with Joe Morello.
Is that right? Oh man.
Oh yeah, so I'm telling you, got to come in on a Friday,
in
man.
on Friday.
You know a fellow named Bob Muskus?
Yeah, why? That's
He's the McDonald's Marching Hall of Fame band.
Oh, okay. I probably heard of him then.
He
Yeah.
turned into a prog guy, and he was in my high school. He was one of my alumnus, one of the alumni at my high. We graduated the same year, and he kind of got, he was a accomplished player in high school, and I was trying to figure out what instrument I wanted to play. And he was influential in turning me on to some of the other guys. I believe I heard Intermounting Flame at his house.
Oh, we used to play that stuff. I love that record.
So,
Birds of Fire. Believe me,
Birds
man.
of Fire, of course, yeah, man. It was all great stuff. Now I'm into some of the other guys. Some of the modern cats like Jimmy Herring. Of course. The guys we all know. I mean, some of these guys are just marvelous. I love Robin Ford. I love Larry Carlton.
Robin Ford, yeah. Well, all right. Let me turn you on to something. Maybe, just maybe. Have you heard of Snarky Puppy?
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay. So then you know her.
I mean, I don't know. Them,
Right. But okay, because those are like the people. Those are like the new kids on the block. And
not like the band.
Not the whoop whoop whoop. Yeah. Anyway, listen. I'm going to go into a fusion. I get into that fusion lock. It's like that's like brain freeze without the pain. So we can't do this. But you got to come in on a Friday, man. You have to come in on a Friday.
I'm gonna once again, Andy talk to me about this thing. I have another guy that I would like to for you to make acquaintance with, a fella named Mark Skanga.
Absolutely. Play it.
Trained Brazilian guitar player who I played with last Friday. And it was a brilliant gig. And we were in just over the border, upstate New York, by where New Jersey Westwood meets New York State, right there. Mm-hmm. And we had an absolutely brilliant, fantastic night. I made $11. And the next night, I played the fiddle, the first tunes I ever learned to play on the fiddle, and made $850.
Wow!
So the better I get, the less I make.
Well, that's but the older, well, no, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going there. I'm not going into the equation of time versus money, because I prefer to think that I get paid by the note, and I play like it.
Yeah,
that's perfectly fine.
Well, that's good, because when it comes your way, you're not getting four on the floor. I consider myself a lead drummer, so I'll send you a track.
I like it all. As far as I'm concerned, as long as it's got the snap to it, I like it. Well, I will occasionally, when the Disco Sucks topic comes up, I will, without even saying anything, let them go on their little tirade for a while. Then I will give them a set of headphones, put on the vinyl of Saturday Night Fever, and go, listen to this. I'll put a beer in his hand and go, and that's very, very good.
Yeah, that's the real thing. That's
That's as good as that got.
I played. Again, I'm getting off, so I'm gonna, I'm gonna jump. But I played at the Odyssey when they were doing rock shows in the '80s.
Sure.
I was freaking ridiculous.
I played at Lemoore.
Oh, okay, me too. Both of them. Queens and Brooklyn. Yep. Bay 8th Street. Boom. Yeah. All right, listen, man. I'm gonna let you bail because
Yeah.
I could smell my dinner burning, which is never a good
Wonderful
sign.
time to make your acquaintance. Thank you for having me on your little your project here.
It was a pleasure, man.
Play, count me in. I am
Okay.
All right.
in.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'll be checking in on the progress of the Harrison, and no, we're good to go. All right, Gary. Thank you, bro.
Poured some drums through here, man.
Oh, please,
welcome.
Mike Freeze. I
You're
know.
welcome to. Come on,
Excellent.
come on over. We'll do it.
It's not like it
All right.
wouldn't happen. It can happen.
Indeed.
All right, man. I hope
Okay,
we'll see you soon on a Friday, and send
soon on a Friday.
anybody you like our way. They'll be treated with
You got it.
kid gloves.
You got it.
All right, man.
All right.
See you soon.
Have a good
Bye,
night.
Thank
Gary.
you. Take care, bro. Well, that was cool.
He was great.
And you see that's the problem with me, guys. When I find somebody that lives in that space that I live in,
you could talk all night.
because it's very lonely with no one to talk to about time signatures.
He was very easy to talk to.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. And yeah, so Jill asked Gary for Angus's number.
Well, she said to DM her.
DM her. Okay,
Yeah.
I can do that
So there you go.
because I know what DMing. I DM.
You DM.
I've DM'd. I will DM. And DM. And DM.
Okay.
Tomorrow, you know what it is. Oh, did they put in their requests?
So, yes. Anything goes Wednesday.
What do we got?
Tomorrow night.
What do we got? Oh, no, you're not telling me?
Well, Gail would like anything from Torque. Michael
Ooh,
Newton would
good
like
choice.
Mighty Joe Young.
Whoa, okay.
Sue would like Stephen Todd.
Stephen Todd. I just found a Stephen Todd today,
And
actually.
Mark Visconti, so he wanted Rat Race Choir Tuesday afternoon, but he had asked for that a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago.
we did that.
I thought you couldn't find it, and you did a different Moody
No.
Blues song.
No. Oh, well, I don't know. I'll look.
And then he said Night Road.
Okay, so Tuesday or Night Road. I'll find them for you.
Okay, so
And there you go. And if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
good night, everybody.